Right guys, now let's continue. Writing task 2, you should spend about 40 minutes on this task. So remember, you only have 40 minutes in total, right? And you need to spend around 3 to 5 minutes to write your plan, okay? Your plan is like the one you have just learned here. So you need to write in your plan, you need to mention something like introduction, body, what you need to answer, or what you need to write in your writing essay. And remember, you only need to write the keywords there in your plan. You should not write the full sentences there. Got it? Because you don't have much time. Only 3 to 5 minutes for this. All right, now let's check this topic. Some people say that the main environmental problem of our time is the loss of particular species of plants and animals. Others say that there are more important environmental problems. So two things, right? Two ideas or two opinions. You need to what? Discuss both these views and give your own opinion. So that is the main thing. And below that, you see they say give reasons for your answer and include any relevant examples from your own knowledge or experience. So that's very common or general. You will see this in every writing essay task 2. Okay, in every writing task 2 in IELTS you will see this. So we don't need to read this one, but when I say we don't need to read this or we don't need to care about this, just because it's so common and this is what exactly what you have to do. Okay, you have to do in all of the writing task 2. Okay, so we don't need to talk about this anymore because that's what you have to do. All right, now we only need to focus on the topic sentences and the main question. So we have the topic sentences here and the main question here. So as the plan. First of all, in the introduction, like last week, we all discussed about this. In the introduction, first of all, we need to paraphrase the topic sentences, right? And that's what we already did. And then we have to, here they say, discuss both these views and give your own opinion. So in the introduction, you need to say or to explain or to express your idea right here as well. After paraphrasing the topic sentences, you need to give your idea right here. Like you say, in this essay, I will explore both perspectives and explain why I believe the extinction of species is a serious concern, but not the most critical environmental problem. So when we say this, so what does that mean? So which point do I support in this case? Guys, give me the answer. No, I just want the answer for my question. And my question is, in this essay, when I write something like, in this essay, I will explore both perspectives and explain why I believe the extinction of species is a serious concern, but not the most critical environmental problem. When I write like this, what does that mean? So which one is more important for me?
Critical environmental problem.
Yeah, all of them are critical environmental problem. Yeah, kind of view 2. Yes, I support view number 2, right? So view number 1, they say like the main environmental problem of our time is the loss of particular species of plants and animals. So that is view number 1, the loss of plants and animals. Okay. And view number 2 is we have some other more important environmental problems. And here, when I say that I believe that the extinction of species is a serious concern, that means that I say yes, I agree that it is very important. But compare with some other, okay, compare with some other environmental problem, I believe that that we still have some other critical environmental problems, okay, much more important, much more critical compared with the loss of some particular species of plants and animals. Okay, So when I say something like that, so what do you expect, or what the examiner can expect to see in my essay? Tell me. After reading the introduction, we must be able to show the examiner that our main idea and what I am or what we are about to write, right? So the introduction must be very clear, like that. So after reading the introduction like this, I didn't show you the body or the conclusion of this one, right? Now, if you are the examiner, if you were the examiner and then you read my introduction, so what do you expect to see in the body? Tell me. What do you expect me to write in the body?
Some environmental problems that are important than the loss of particular species of plants and animals.
Yes, that's right. Yes, I will have to mention, like, because I said that there are some other more important environmental problems than the loss of some particular species of plants and animals, right? So of course I have to mention about that in the body. I have to explain or I have to describe those other important environmental problems, right? Of course. So the examiner can expect that, and that's what I will write about. Yes, that's right. What else? What else can the examiner expect me to write? Or he or she can expect to see in my writing essay after seeing this?
Maybe the examiner will like they can see how you support the order idea.
Yes. They can expect to see how I support the second view, right?
Yes.
Because there are two views here, and based on the introduction, it's very clear that I support the second idea. Okay? So that means that in the body, I must write some kind of examples or explanations or some results or something like that, which support the second idea or the second perspective strongly, right? I must support that one a lot in the body, right? How about the first perspective? Can the examiner expect to see something about that in my essay? Yes or no?
Yes.
The first perspective, that means the loss of particular species of plants and animals. Can the examiner expect to see that in my essay? Yes, of course, right? Because here they say discuss both these views, right? Discuss both these views. So of course I have to discuss both the views. But remember, I support the second one. Okay, so the examiner can expect to say, okay, I will explain something about the first perspective. I mentioned something, but then I will say that, well, even though we have some problems with that, but I believe that we still have more important environmental problems, and these are the problems. Okay, and then I mention, I explain, I give reasons, I give examples, like that, right? Okay, so now let's go. So first of all, let's discuss about the first view. Okay, the first view. Ngọc Anh, tell me about the first view again.
Some people say that the main environmental problem of our time is the loss of particular species of plant and animals.
Yes. So the first view is this. Some people say that the main environmental problem of our time is the loss of particular species of plants and animals. So I'm going to describe the first view on the second paragraph. Okay, that is the first paragraph of the body. Here, you can write it. You can write there. Those who prioritize Do you know priority?
Yes.
Priority is just a noun, and prioritize, that is the verb. You replace T with ties, I-Z-E, I-Z-E, and then you can transform a noun to a verb. That's what you have learned, or you already learned last time. Okay, those who prioritize biodiversity, loss. Biodiversity loss, emphasize the interconnectedness . Interconnectedness. Yeah, you can have a look on the table, on the board. Okay. Of ecosystems or ecosystems, okay? Of ecosystems. Again, the first sentence, those who prioritize biodiversity loss emphasize the interconnectedness of ecosystems. So based on this, do you know like what I'm going to write? The first view or the second view? The first view, right? Because here I say biodiversity loss, okay? Biodiversity loss emphasize the interconnectedness of ecosystem or ecosystems. Biodiversity loss, that's just another way of writing about the loss of plants and animals, okay? Full stop. So next, after the first sentence, then I have to go deeper, right? The disappearance of even a single species can disrupt food chains, comma, degrade habitats. Any word you don't know, please tell me. Do you know disrupt? How do you spell that? Yes, D-I-S-R-U-P-T, disrupt. Food chains, do you understand? Do you understand food chains? You know food, right? Do you know chains? How do you spell that? C-H-A-I-N-S. CHAINS. Okay, just continue to finish this sentence, and I'm going to explain it later. Disrupt food chains, comma, degrade habitats, comma, and lead to further extinctions. Do you understand this? The disappearance of even a single species, I mean even a single species of plants or animals, okay, can disrupt food chains. Do you know disrupt food chains? Now we are talking about food chains, right? Food chains, I mean like which one will eat or digest which one? Like tigers and lions or something, they will eat deers or something else, okay? And then the deers, they will eat grass, and grass will eat something or grow based on what, you know? So that is the food chain. Yeah, chuỗi thức ăn đó là chuỗi cung thức ăn, okay? Yeah, things like that. How about degrade habitats? Do you understand that? How do you spell degrade? Ủa sao có mỗi bằng tự phát biểu và mấy bằng kia đâu? Không thuộc level hả? Các bạn có hiểu cái gì không? Yes or no? Degrade. Thư, spell that. No. Hương. Yes. DEGRADE. Degrade is the same as what? Hương, tell me. You don't know. Huy. You don't know. Someone else, please. Degrade. What does that mean? That means reduce, lower. Okay? And habitats, you know, right? What does that mean? Nhi, explain that. Yes, not only animals, but plants as well. Okay? Yes, habitats, I mean like the places or the environments where animals or plants live, right? So degrade habitats. Why? Here they say that even the disappearance, that means the loss, okay? Disappearance of even a single species, that means even the loss of a single species of one type of animal or one type of plant can disrupt food chains, right? For example, can you imagine what might happen if like grass disappear? Okay? If grass disappear in the world, then maybe all of the animals which are eating grass, what can happen to them? All of them will die, right? And because all of them die, then what will happen? Then all of the animals like tigers, lions, and all of the things which are eating them, okay, will die as well. So that's why they say, and lead to further extinctions. You see, disrupt the food chains, degrade habitats. That means reduce habitats. That means that people like animals or plants, they don't have the right environment to survive, and they may die. And then that leads to further extinctions, right? Yeah. So here they're trying to say that the disappearance or the loss of one species might cause the death or the disappearance of many other things. next to that, okay, or related to that. You understand? So here in the first paragraph, the writer is trying to explain the importance or the thing, or trying to explain why the first view is really important. Okay? Now full stop. So after he or she gives the explanations, now we need to do what? Look at this. After giving reasons, explanation, you need to do what? You need to give examples, right? Otherwise no one is going to believe you, right? So you need to give examples. All right, full stop, for example. Okay, we need to give some examples, right? For example, comma, the loss of pollinators. I'm going to spell that, don't worry. The loss of pollinators. P-O-L-L-I-N-A-T-O-R-S. What does that mean? You know? Pollinators means something such as an insect that carries pollen from one plant or part of a plant to another. Thụ phấn các bạn. Ok, những cái loài thụ phấn giống như là ong hay cái gì đó. You understand? So the loss of pollinators like bees can significantly reduce agricultural productivity. Agriculture, do you know agriculture? Nông nghiệp, eh? Do you know that? How do you spell that? Agricultural, how do you spell that? Yeah, Agricultural, agricultural productivity. Comma, threatening, do you know threaten? Threatening, just like ing. Threatening food security. Do you understand this? For example, the loss of pollinators like bees can significantly reduce agricultural productivity, threatening food security. Do you understand this? So in other words, like for example, if bees disappear, or something like bees disappear, or birds disappear, what may happen? So they cannot bring pollen from one plant to another plant, right? So that means that all of the plants cannot grow, or they cannot bear fruit for us, right? And no flowers, no fruit. So that's why they say that the loss of something like bees can significantly reduce agricultural productivity. Do you agree? Yes, because there's no flowers, no fruit. So that will reduce agricultural productivity. And then what? Threatening food security, right? Threatening, what does that mean? Yeah, make it dangerous. Okay. Bring danger to something or someone. So threatening food security. Yes, because no bees or no pollen carrying around. So no flowers, no fruit. No fruit, that means no food. Right? So that may affect, or that will surely affect food security. Right? So no food. You understand? All right, full stop. So that is just one example. Now we just add some more. Okay, so to add more, then we just say moreover, comma, moreover, that means in addition. Yeah, many species play irreplaceable role. Irreplaceable role. When we say placeable, that means it can be changed by something else. But when we say irreplaceable, that means that it cannot be changed by anything else. Do you understand? Okay, now let me spell this. I double R E P L A C E A B L E. Okay? Irreplaceable roles. Okay? Moreover, many species play irreplaceable roles in maintaining ecological balance. Ecological is just like ecology, you know, ecology, hệ sinh thái. Ecological is just an adjective of ecology. Okay? You need me to spell that ecological? Thiên Nga, can you spell that?
ECOLOGICAL.
Yes, that's right. Yeah? Ecological, just like ecology. Yeah? All right? Balance. In maintaining ecological balance, comma, and their extinction can have unpredictable ripple effects. And their extinction can have unpredictable ripple effects. Ripple, let me spell that. R I double P L E. What does that mean, guys? Ripple effect. Can you imagine, like here we have the water surface. The water surface, and if you drop a stone there, and it may cause some waves on the water surface. You see, and it will keep spreading the whole surface. Okay, so ripple effects, that means that that will affect, okay, one thing, just like domino effect. When one thing affects the thing next to that, and the thing next to that may affect the thing next to that. Okay, and that might cause the collapse of everything. You understand? That's what we mean by ripple effect. Tức là hiệu ứng lan tỏa. Yeah. So here, let me explain. Moreover, many species play irreplaceable roles. That means they play very important roles, which cannot be replaced by anything. Okay? They play irreplaceable roles in maintaining ecological balance and their extinction. So what will happen if these species disappear? What may happen? So they say, and their extinction can have unpredictable ripple effects. I mean that the disappearance of one species may cause, you know, unpredictable ripple effects. I mean, like the effects on some other types of animals or plants, and we cannot predict that. Okay, and the death or the disappearance of one thing may cause the disappearance of the next thing, and then the thing after that, and the thing after that. Anything related to that food chain can be destroyed as well. You understand? Yeah? All right, full stop. From this point of view, comma, the loss of biodiversity, Việt ngữ là gì? Yeah, sự đa dạng sinh học ha. From this point of view, the loss of biodiversity is not only an ethical issue, but also a practical threat. Hồi nãy mình dùng chữ threatening, now we have threat. That's just a noun of that, okay? But also a practical threat to human survival. Okay? So done. We have just finished the first paragraph of the body. So here we are trying to explain the importance of the loss of particular species of plants and animals. And here the writer is trying to say or trying to explain, yes, he agrees that this one is important. You understand? I need someone to read the whole thing again. Nhi, can you do that? The disappearance. Yeah, pollinators. Yeah, okay guys. So here you see again, first of all, the first sentence they mentioned about the so here based on the first sentence, those who prioritize biodiversity loss emphasize the interconnectedness of ecosystems. So here by reading this, we know that okay, in this paragraph the writer is going to write something related to the first view, right? So first of all, he said that the disappearance of even a single species can disrupt food chains, degrade habitats, and lead to further extinctions. So that is, he tries to say that, okay, the first view, that is very important. And then he gives some examples, right? after giving his explanation for what he's trying to say, he needs to give some examples to prove it. He say, for example, the loss of pollinators like bees can significantly reduce agricultural productivity, threatening food security. And then he adds something more to that example. He adds something more. Moreover, many species play irreplaceable roles in maintaining ecological balance, and their extinction can have unpredictable ripple effects. And then he make a conclusion. You see, the kind of the results or the conclusion for that one. He said, from this point of view, the loss of biodiversity is not only an ethical issue but also a practical threat to human survival. Done. Good one. Okay. So first of all, he just explained, or he just trying to say that yes, he agrees that the first view is very important. Now, if you were an examiner, so what can you expect to read next? In the next paragraph, what do you expect to read? Or what do you expect to see? Guys, someone you know, but you need to give me the answer. Of course you know. TOEIC, tell me, in the next paragraph, what do you expect to see or to read? Yes, in the next paragraph, the writer must discuss view number 2, right? Because the first paragraph of the body, he only explained view number 1. So of course, in the next paragraph, he must explain the second view, right? And remember, based on the introduction, he said that he supports the second one, right? He thinks the second view is even more important than the first one. So we can expect, we as the readers, we can expect, okay, I think that in the next paragraph, he will explain about some other more important environmental problems, much more important than just the loss of some species of animals and plants, right? Okay, can I expect that? Yes, for sure, I can expect that because that's what he wrote here, right, in the introduction and from the first paragraph of the body. So that's what I can expect from the second paragraph of the body, right? Okay, now let's jump to the second one. Go down the line, okay, and leave some space there. And now you can write, on the other hand, comma, some environmental problems have a more immediate and global impact. Okay? On the other hand, some environmental problems have a more immediate and global impact. Oh my God, after reading this, oh I see, yes, something interesting is coming, right? Why? Why is so interesting? Why we can expect that something interesting is coming? Why? Because the writer is going to write about what? What? Yeah, of course, view number 2, but to be specific, what is he or she going to write about? What? Of course, problem. But what kind of problem based on the first sentence? Tell me. Remember, guys, as always tell you that the first sentence of every paragraph must mean something. Okay? And it must be very important. By reading the first sentence of a paragraph, the readers must be able to guess or to expect what he or she can see or can read in that paragraph, right? So now, based on the first sentence of this paragraph, what can we expect to see or to read? I know about the environmental problem, but what kind? Yes, those problems must have a more immediate impact and global impact. Immediate impact, I mean that problem can cause some problems now. Immediate. Not like for 20 years, not like in 20 years or 50 years or 100 years. No. So it is interesting because we are about to read something related to like some immediate problems, the problems which can happen like very near in the future, maybe next month or it is happening now or next year, very close. Okay, and also it must have a global impact. So that means that impact doesn't happen in one particular area, but it happens globally. You see. So that's why it's very interesting, right? And we wonder, okay, what are they? Right? What are those problems? All right, next. So of course, after that, the writer must explain or must mention some kind of problems like that, something with immediate and global impact. Okay? Now, full stop. Climate change. Comma, driven by greenhouse gas emissions. Driven by greenhouse gas emissions. Comma, is altering. Do you know alter? A-L-T-E-R, and we just say ring, okay? Altering. Weather patterns. Weather patterns or patterns. Do you know how to write patterns? Ngọc Anh, can you spell that? No? Hương? P-A-T-T-E-R-N-S. Yeah? What does that mean? Yeah, like type or models, okay? Is ordering weather patterns. What does that mean? Ordering weather patterns, what does that mean? Someone, please. So climate change is ordering weather patterns. What does that mean? That ordering, that means changing. Ordering means changing. Weather patterns, that means like the style, the weather styles. Okay? Like in Vietnam, in Ho Chi Minh City specifically, in the past, we have like 6 months of raining and six months of sunny, right? We have 2 seasons, rainy season and also sunny season, right? But now we can have rain kind of in kind of at any time. Yeah. So that means that the weather pattern is changing, and that is affected by climate change. You understand? So that's why I say that climate change driven by greenhouse gas emissions. Driven by greenhouse gas emissions. That means it is explain the reasons why there is climate change. Okay, and then climate change is altering weather patterns. Okay, comma. Melting polar ice. Comma, and increasing the frequency of extreme events such as floods and wildfires. WILDFIRES. Okay. Again, melting polar ice and increasing the frequency of extreme events such as floods and wildfires. Do you understand everything there? Do you know melting polar ice? Tan chảy băng ở các cực đó, Bắc cực, Nam cực bị tan băng đó. Okay? Melting polar ice, that means that the ice in the North Pole and the South Pole is melting. I mean turning into liquid. Okay? And increasing the frequency of extreme events. Do you understand increasing the frequency of extreme events? That means that it increases the number of times these events can happen. Frequency, that means like the number of times. For example, yeah, like here we are talking about floods. Do you know floods? Yeah? Water? Too much water? Alright. And wildfires? What does that mean? That means that a fire is burning strongly and out of control. Maybe like on an area of grass or bushes in the countryside, or kind of wood fire, cháy rừng các bạn, hoặc là cháy hỏa hoạn. Okay? Floods and wildfires giống như là lũ lụt và cháy hỏa hoạn. Okay? Hoặc là cháy rừng. Alright? And here we are talking about increasing the frequency of extreme events. That means that these events can happen more frequently. Yeah? Like it used to be like just one or twice every 5 years, for example. But now it happens like once a year. You understand? It's just one example, okay? Yeah. Tăng cái cường độ lên ha, tăng cái cường độ của những cái sự kiện. Do you know extreme? Extremely? Extreme là just an adjective of extremely. EXTREME. Okay. All right. So now it is planning about the effect of climate change, right? Full stop. Now we are talking about another issue. Air and water pollution. Now we are talking about pollution, right? So last time you mentioned about climate change, and you also mentioned about pollution. Remember?
Yes.
Yeah. So air and water pollution continue to affect millions of people. Comma, especially in urban and industrial areas. Okay? Yeah? Do you understand urban and industrial areas? Urban, that means
The area outside city.
no, opposite. That is the city area, not the area outside of the city. That is the city area. Okay? Đô thị. Đừng có lộn với rural nha bạn. And industrial areas, you know?
Yes.
Yes. So like you see like some industrial areas here nearby our place. You see, air and water pollution continue to affect millions of people because of those areas. See? Yeah. Full stop. These issues not only damage the natural world, but also pose POSE direct risk to human health and livelihoods. Do you understand livelihoods? First of all, how do you spell that?
L-I-V-E.
Yeah, Live,
L-I.
Lihoods. Livelihoods. That means the way to survive, the way to live, or the way to earn money and live. Sinh kế bạn, kế sinh nhai. Okay? Alright, full stop. Arguably, có nghĩa là có thể nói là. Okay? I mean we can say that. Okay? Arguably, comma, tackling these larger scale problems do you know tackle? Tackle the problems, you know, right? So now just tackling. How do you spell tackle or tackling? How do you spell that? Tackling in this case, yeah? Tackling these larger scale. Cái chữ larger scale các bạn để dấu nối trong giữa chữ larger and scale nha. Larger scale problems may indirectly help protect endangered species by restoring healthier ecosystems. Yeah. Can some? Oh, okay, done. Can someone read that again, please? Who? Who wants to do this? Take your chance, guys. Take your chance. And do this. Oh, I want someone with a loud and clear voice. Who can you do it? Yeah, go.
On the other hand, some environmental problems have a more immediate and global impact. Climate change, driven by greenhouse gas emissions, is altering weather pattern,
melting, polarized,
and increasing
frequencies
of the
extreme events
such as floods and wildlife.
No, wildfires chứ wildlife gì? Yeah, wildfires.
Air pollution continue affects millions of people, especially in urban and industrial area. These issues not only damage the natural world, but also pose the direct to human
Risk.
direct risk to human health and livelihoods.
Yeah.
Arguably,
tackling
these larger scale problems may
indirectly
help protect endangered species by restoring healthier ecosystems.
Yes. So here, you see, on the other hand, some environmental problems may have a more immediate and global impact. So based on this sentence, the writer is trying to say that, okay, even though I already said that, okay, the first view is very important, but now I am going to write about some more important environmental problems, okay? So the first thing you can see here is climate change. Climate change driven by greenhouse gas emissions. What does it do? It is altering weather patterns, melting polarized, and increasing the frequency of extreme events such as floods and wildfires. So that is about climate change. So that's the first environmental problem, okay? And the second one, air and water pollution continue to affect millions of people, especially in urban and industrial areas. So yeah, they are talking about climate change, they're talking about pollution, and then they say these issues not only damage, so this is kind of a conclusion of that one, okay? These issues not only damage the natural world, but also pose direct risks to human health and livelihoods. Arguably, and then here he makes a conclusion, arguably, tackling these larger scale problems may indirectly help protect endangered species by restoring healthier ecosystems. So he thinks that if people can do something about this, can deal with this, okay, can deal with these larger scale problems, then we can indirectly help to protect some endangered species. If we just jump in and then we focus on the first view, like we just focus on protecting the animals and plants, okay? If we just try, if all we do is just try to protect, oh, I need to protect plants, I need to protect animals, maybe it doesn't work. Because if some other bigger problems like climate change or pollution, it keeps increasing and it keeps happening every single day, then it will damage and we will destroy everything, okay? So if we can tackle these issues, the larger scale issues, we can indirectly, theo một cách gián tiếp, okay, we can indirectly protect the endangered species without like going and then do something for them every single day. Okay, we just need to deal with larger scale problems, and then after dealing with them, and then the other smaller problems will be solved automatically. You understand? Yeah. Okay, we still have the conclusion, but that is for tomorrow. Yeah.